아, 잠깐. 제시카 외동딸 일리노이 시카고 과선배는 김진모 그는 네 사촌.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies where audiences get the moral wrong.
I can't get it out of my head. I do this 7 years. Every day it happens.
When them people come here and they ask you who done this, you tell them Mickey and Mallory Knox did it, all right?
There is no nobility in poverty.
For this list, we're looking at films with strong messages that are often misunderstood. As you can expect, there may be some spoilers ahead, so a spoiler alert is now in effect. So, are there any movies you're pretty sure people don't get? Be sure to sound off about it in the comments. Number 10. Starship Troopers. On the surface, Starship Troopers might seem like a no-brainer monster flick, but only if you were just watching for the action scenes. As revealed through the propaganda newsreels and draconian citizenship rules, the movie is actually a satire of militarism and fascism. This is also shown in more subtle ways, such as the Gestapo-inspired uniforms. Director Paul Verhoeven unpacked this message in the DVD commentary, remarking that, quote, "War makes fascists of us all."
The innocence of youth is replaced by the cruelty and the hard edge of war.
As he also said, he created a perfect fascist world for the movie, but all it was good for was killing bugs. Number 9. Parasite. Bong Joon-ho's black comedy Parasite was a huge hit with both audiences and critics. The story follows the schemes of a poor family that tricks a rich family into employing them.
아, 잠깐. 제시카 외동딸 일리노이 시카고 과선배는 김진모 그는 네 사촌.
However, a cloud of misinterpretation has followed the film from start to finish. It began with fans of Bong's monster flick The Host believing that Parasite would be a sequel. But even after people saw the film, some just didn't seem to get it.
생긴 건 둥글둥글한데 그년이 속은 아주 둥그랭이야. 어떨 때는 사모님 행세를 할 때도 있어, 지가.
And to be fair, there are a lot of layers to wade through. As Bong himself has explained, the film is a criticism of social inequality and capitalism today. The label parasite applies to both the poor family and the rich, who are, quote, parasites in terms of labor. Number 8. American Sniper. When American Sniper was released, some members of the public, as well as some professional critics, had issues with the seemingly propagandistic style of the movie.
It is still unclear at this hour who our enemy is. Although the embassies were obviously the targets, most of the dead...
They saw the word American shining on the marquees, and they saw the American flag on the posters.
You ever think about what happens when there's a real person on the end of that gun?
I don't know. I just hope I can do my job when that day comes.
And to them, this indicated that it was a movie celebrating decorated war veteran Chris Kyle himself. Of course, this was never the intention. As Clint Eastwood said, he was trying to make a statement about the treatment of veterans and their mental states, and that it was, quote, the biggest anti-war statement any film can make. Whether he succeeded in making that statement is another thing entirely. Number 7. First Blood. Some still cheer on Rambo today as he methodically hunts the police through the jungle, and they clap when he returns to the town and blows it up. The thing is, we're not necessarily supposed to like Rambo as he causes harm and destruction. He's a man who's been programmed to be a killing machine, and that's to be feared, not admired.
In Vietnam, his job was to dispose of enemy personnel. To kill. Period. Win by attrition. Well, Rambo was the best.
This isn't 80s action hero takes on a horde of bad guys schlock, although the sequels clearly didn't do anything to help this perception. It's a complex and introspective movie about PTSD, the damaging nature of war, and the mistreatment of veterans.
I do this 7 years. Every day it happens. Sometimes I wake up and I don't know where I am.
Hey, still a fun movie though. Number 6. Dirty Dancing. Contrary to what many may think, this movie is much more than an 80s chick flick. While the dancing is fun and all, it's really just a metaphor for baby's maturity in terms of both her sexuality and independence.
I wanna take you a walk 'cause I'm in love.
Watch my
Ooh, baby, I'm a love
Good.
man.
The film is set in 1963, at a time when overt sexuality was still taboo. This forces Peggy to get a back alley medical procedure, and Baby to conceal her physical relationship with Johnny.
You didn't call an ambulance? She said the hospital would call the police. She made me promise. He didn't use no ether, nothing.
I thought you said he was at Real MD.
The guy had a dirty knife and a folding table.
At the climax, they dance a provocative number. The Dirty Dancers join in, and Baby is finally able to overcome her fears in the movie's most iconic scene. Number 5. American Psycho. To say that American Psycho was controversial would be an understatement. Bret Easton Ellis faced significant difficulties when trying to publish the novel and received death threats after its publication. Upon the release of the film 9 years later, some critics still attacked its morbidity and apparent misogynistic themes.
Oh, who gives a rat's ass?
Hey, that affects us.
Oh, well, what about the massacres in Sri Lanka, honey? Doesn't that affect us too? I mean, do you know anything about Sri Lanka? How, the Sikhs are killing, tons of Israelis over there?
However, it's fairly clear that this story isn't glorifying violence through Patrick Bateman, but criticizing him.
I need those sheets clean by this afternoon. Listen, I cannot understand you. This is crazy. You're a fool. I can't cope with this stupid bitchy. Understand?
American Psycho is a satire about the narcissism, materialism, and dehumanizing aspects of capitalism, and a terrifying glimpse into the mind of a killer. Watching Bateman, we're supposed to feel horror. Number 4. Natural Born Killers. With a name like Natural Born Killers, you can see how Oliver Stone's crime film would be controversial. The movie was immediately criticized for glorifying violence, and it was blamed for a number of copycat crimes.
When them people come here and they ask you who done this, you tell them Mickey and Mallory Knox did it, all right? Say it.
Mickey and Mallory Knox did it.
Mickey and Mallory Knox. I love you, Mickey.
Mallory?
To the media, this was a movie that showed how cool murder was, and it needed to be shut down.
Come on, get the big bad wolf. Come on, get it!
That's definitely ironic because the film actually satirizes the mass media's obsession with violence.
Media's like the weather, only it's man-made weather. Murder? It's pure. You're the one made it impure. You're buying and selling fear.
The fact that this aspect was missed by reviewers and the people who allegedly committed crimes under its influence somewhat proved its point. Number 3. The Wolf of Wall Street. Martin Scorsese's biographical black comedy depicts the life of excess. And as with many such films, some people got the wrong idea and began cheering for the lifestyle rather than questioning it.
Welcome to the Investors Center. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Bye-bye.
How'd you do that?
Just like that, I made $2,000. The other guys looked at me like I'd just discovered fire.
A few professional critics saw the movie as a glorification of excessive living, and some financial workers allegedly cheered at an advanced screening.
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every time.
It got so bad that Leonardo DiCaprio even had to defend the movie and its themes. The film is meant to show the destructive nature of not only such excess, but also of corrupt and overly ambitious professionals.
Did you drive that car tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Family man, honey! Yeah. It was a miracle I wasn't killed.
We're meant to be disgusted with Jordan's actions, not cheering him on. Number 2, The Godfather.
You don't ask with respect. You don't offer friendship. You don't even think to call me Godfather. Instead, you come into my house on the day my daughter's to be married and you ask me to do murder for money.
Like Goodfellas and countless other gangster movies, The Godfather depicts a life of crime as something to be feared. Throughout The Godfather, we watch as the mild-mannered Michael devolves into crime and brutality before finally being crowned the Godfather in a moment of sheer tragedy. However, some viewers took this to be a moment of triumph, and the glorification began instantly. Suddenly, the mafia was cool, and interest in it skyrocketed. Even Even some real-life gangsters loved the movie and began integrating it into their work. For example, calling bosses Godfather. What was meant as a warning instead became something else entirely.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Fight Club. Upon its release, David Fincher's adaptation of Chuck Palahniuk's novel Fight Club divided critics, who were skeptical of its message. But its popularity with fans soon made it a cult hit. However, some fans seem to misinterpret the movie's moral.
Right. We are consumers. We are byproducts of a lifestyle obsession. Murder, crime, poverty, these things don't concern me. What concerns me are celebrity magazines, television with 500 channels, some guy's name on my underwear.
Brad Pitt's character Tyler Durden is eminently quotable, but while his critique of capitalism is part of the film's message, he's also a psychotic terrorist whose solutions are simple, nihilistic, and violent.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club. Third rule of Fight Club, someone yells stop, goes limp, taps out. The fight is over.
In other words, he's not really someone you want to base your worldviews around.
You're just letting yourself become Tyler Durden.
You are not your job for how much fun I'm having with it.
The film isn't saying the status quo is desirable, but it isn't endorsing Durden's nihilism either.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.